You keep hearing that inflation has cooled, that it is finally coming down. So why does everything still feel so expensive? Your groceries, your rent, a simple meal out, none of it has gone back to what it used to cost. And here is the strange part. Even when the news says inflation is dropping, those prices mostly stay right where they are. It feels like a contradiction, but it is not. There is one simple idea that explains the whole thing, and once it clicks, the gap between the headlines and your wallet will finally make sense. I spent more than 20 years in banking, watching how prices, paychecks, and savings actually behave. So today, in plain English and with no politics, let us clear up the most misunderstood idea in money. By the end, you will understand inflation better than almost everyone complaining about it. A quick note before we begin. I spent more than 20 years in banking, including about 10 years as a branch manager and district manager. But I am not your banker, your attorney, or your financial advisor, and nothing in this video is personal financial advice. This is education, plain and simple, about how money works. And like the last one, this is not a political video. I am not blaming anyone or taking any side. Inflation has been around for as long as money has, under every kind of leader. I am only here to show you the mechanics, so you can understand what is happening to your own money. Any stories come from real experience, with the details changed. With that said, let us dig in. So let us start simple. What is inflation really? Inflation is just the rate at which prices rise over time. When inflation is happening, the same dollar buys a little less than it did before. Think about it from your money's point of view. A dollar in your pocket is not a fixed amount of stuff. It is a claim on whatever it can buy today. When prices rise, that same dollar quietly buys less bread, less gas, less of everything. So inflation is not really about prices going up out there. It is about your money losing a little of its power in here, in your wallet. A small amount each year may sound harmless, but it adds up, and it is happening constantly in the background. Now here is the idea that clears up all the confusion, the one almost nobody explains. When you hear that inflation is cooling or coming down, it does not mean prices are falling. It means prices are rising more slowly than before. Picture a car on a highway. Inflation is the speed, not the distance. When inflation slows down, the car is not going backward. It is still moving forward, just not as fast. So if inflation was running hot and then cools, prices are still climbing, just at a gentler pace. That single distinction, speed versus distance, is the key to understanding why your bills never seem to shrink, even when the good news arrives. This is why the high prices you are paying now do not roll back. Those increases from the fast years are already baked in. They became the new normal the moment they happened. When inflation cools, all it means is that prices will rise more slowly from here, on top of the higher level they already reached. The old price tag you remember from a few years ago is not waiting to return, it is gone, replaced by today's higher one, which will likely keep creeping up, just more gently. So when someone celebrates that inflation is down, they are really saying the price increases are smaller now, not that anything got cheaper. For your wallet, slower is better than fast, but it is still up, never back. So what would it actually take for prices to fall? That has a name. It is called deflation, when prices broadly go down instead of up. And here is the part that surprises people. Deflation sounds wonderful, but economists generally dread it, because prices usually only fall across the board when something is badly wrong, when people have stopped spending and businesses are struggling. And once it starts, it can feed on itself. If people expect prices to drop, they wait to buy, which slows the economy further, which pushes prices down more. Falling prices often come hand in hand with falling paychecks and lost jobs. So the version of relief most people are hoping for, prices actually dropping, usually only arrives with a painful economy attached. A little inflation, it turns out, is the healthier problem to have. So, what causes inflation in the first place? At its heart, it comes down to a simple balance. How much money is chasing how many goods? When there is more money and demand in the system than there are things to buy, prices get bid up. Too many dollars chasing too few goods. That extra money and demand can come from many places at once, and the exact mix is what experts argue about. Inflation can also come from the cost side, when the things businesses need, like fuel, materials, or shipping, get more expensive, and those costs get passed along to you. Usually, it is some blend of both. demand running hot, and costs rising together. But the core idea stays simple. Prices rise when money and demand outrun the supply of goods. Let me make this real. Think of someone working hard, the same job, the same effort, year after year. A few years ago, her paycheck comfortably covered her bills with a little leftover. Today, that same paycheck covers the same life with nothing to spare, and some months, not quite enough. She did not start spending more recklessly. Her money simply buys less than it used to. That quiet squeeze, where your income stands still while prices drift up, is inflation working in the background. It does not announce itself. There is no single moment it hits. You just slowly notice that the same amount of money does not stretch as far as it once did. That feeling you cannot quite name is the one we are explaining today. Now, here is something that surprises people. A small, steady amount of inflation is actually considered normal, even healthy. Most central banks around the world aim for a gentle target, often around 2% a year. The goal is not zero. A little inflation keeps money moving and gives the economy a small cushion. The problem is not inflation existing. It is inflation running too hot, too fast, faster than paychecks can keep up. When prices climb gently and your income climbs with them, you barely feel it. The pain comes when prices sprint ahead and your paycheck is left walking behind. So the aim is never to erase inflation. It is to keep it slow and steady enough that your money can keep pace with it. So, if a little inflation is always with us, the real question is, how do you keep your money from quietly losing the race? A few simple ideas. First, do not let cash sit idle, earning almost nothing, because inflation eats it a little every year. Money parked at 1/3 of 1%, while prices rise, is shrinking in real terms. Keeping your savings somewhere that pays a fair rate at least helps it fight back. Second, your income matters most. Skills, raises, and earning power that grow over time are your strongest defense against rising prices. And third, owning things that tend to rise along with inflation over the long run can help your money keep pace rather than fall behind. The goal is simple. Do not let your money stand still. So let us turn this into clear thinking. When you hear inflation is down, translate it correctly. It means prices are rising more slowly, not falling. When you remember an old, lower price, let it go gently, because it is probably not coming back, and waiting for it just leads to frustration. And instead of focusing only on prices out there, which you cannot control, focus on the thing you can, keeping your own money and income growing to keep pace. That shift from waiting for prices to drop to helping your money keep up is the difference between feeling helpless about inflation and feeling in control of it. You cannot stop the tide, but you can learn to swim with it. So remember this: inflation is the speed at which prices rise, not the distance they travel. When it cools, the climbing just slows. It does not reverse, which is why your old prices never come back. Real drops, deflation, usually only come with a hurting economy, so a little steady inflation is the healthier problem. The prices out there are mostly beyond your control, but your money keeping pace is not. Understand the mechanics, keep your money working, and you stop being confused or discouraged by the headlines and start making sense of them. That is the whole picture. No politics required. I will see you in the next video.